Hi class. All right, so we are looking at the Monroe Doctrine and the Missouri Compromise. And it's just after the War of 1812, and we actually gave four things that came out of that war in the last lecture, but the two that we said we want to talk about here is the nationalism that comes as a result of it and the recognition that we need to improve our economy. So I'm looking at the outline here on my computer while I'm talking to you so I can make sure I can hit these points. And so for the Monroe Doctrine, the way we're going to put that into nationalism is what happens is there's a lot of revolutions that happen in South American countries. Those countries break free from their colonial oppressors. And, we're feeling pretty good about this, right? Like, we have a revolution, France has a revolution, and then all these other Latin American countries have a revolution. We're worried, though, that once these Latin American countries become free, other European nations might try to move in again and try to reclaim authority there, and we want those nations to stay free. So we issue the Monroe Doctrine, and what this says is it's basically, I'm going to paraphrase here, but it's basically us telling Europe, you stay out of the Western Hemisphere, and we'll stay out of the Eastern Hemisphere. You stay out of our backyard, we'll stay out of your backyard. Now, the way this is a great reflection of nationalism is because who are we, right, in 1823 to tell Europe what to do? Well, who are we ever? But really, in 1823. But, right, it's just a reflection of well, look at us, right? We beat England not once but twice. And so what happens is those European countries decide, yeah, they don't really want to have anything to do with the countries that are over here. It's just one big hassle to have colonies over here. But when those European countries don't try to reassert or reclaim authority in those countries, we see them doing that and we think, well, ha ha ha, it's because we told them, they listened to us. So it just reinforces that nationalism. Now, just as we're coming together with this Monroe Doctrine, feeling all good about ourselves, post-war nationalism of the War of 1812, slavery is threatening to split the country again. And this is the Missouri Compromise. So remember, Jefferson had purchased that Louisiana territory, and it was going to last us for this generations, he thought. Well, it started to become settled, and the people that have settled the area of Missouri want to enter the state, or enter the United States as a slave state. This is a problem because there's an even balance right now of slave states and free states, and that's necessary for the Senate, right, where you have equal representation. Then the other reason it's concerning to some people is it's pushing slavery. If you there's a map on the PowerPoint, and it's pushing slavery further north than it's ever gone before, much further above that Ohio River. The other thing, this was supposed to be an empire of liberty that Jefferson purchased, and so far this territory has all gone to slave states. Louisiana became a slave state, Arkansas will become a slave state, and here Missouri, once it enters a slave state. But this drive to grow is so big that there's this, we want to have Missouri come in as a state. So the compromise that's worked out is Missouri will be a slave state. We'll take from Massachusetts and create the free state of Maine, so that will keep the balance. Missouri will be a slave state, Maine will be a free state. But the third part of this is going to be important later when we get to the Civil War. The third part of the Missouri Compromise says that Missouri's southern border, what's called the 3630 line, with the exception of Missouri, there will be no slavery above that line. So in other words, what the third part is saying is that the rest of this territory will be free, with the exception of Missouri. And that's going to be a key point for the Civil War when we get there in a few weeks. When Jefferson heard of this compromise, and this was right towards the end of his life, Jefferson feared that this was the end. This was setting us towards a country that could not sustain itself, and in fact, he was ultimately right. So if you've got any questions, you can ask that in the discussion board, and I also gave you the pages of your textbook where you can find some more information. All right, take care.